Hi, besties. Welcome to the podcast where we're all friends because we love all things Bravo, pop culture, and can't stop talking
Having so much fun.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Bravo should be fun. I'm Caitlin Marshall, your host here at Besties by Bravo. Allegedly allegations, where we're in a safe space to gossip, share our thoughts, and opinions.
That girl's a liar. That girl's a liar.
About the Bravo celebrities, shows, and celebs we love, hate, and
that's when
love
Chef
to
goes,
hate.
Oh, suddenly now you're so religious?
So be cool. Don't be all uncool.
He went on a podcast claiming he had a threesome with two women from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Immediately, I was like, I wonder if it's Brandy and Carlton.
Because sometimes things may get a little, well, ridiculous.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's a spider that is coming down. Hold on. Ah! Oh my God!
It's like the Blair Witch Project or something. All you can hear in the background is, oh my God, has anybody seen my ring?
Oh my God.
I don't want to ruin the party or anything.
Have you seen my ring? Oh my God, can you look on the floor for my ring? God, someone's gonna kill me.
Don't mess with me because I will come.
What? Oh.
Feel free to leave that in for whatever entertainment purposes.
I'm so glad you're here to enjoy the fun. So, thank you for joining me on Besties by Bravo.
Hi, besties. Thank you for joining us today for the Vanderpump Rules series finale. I'm sorry, season finale. Thank you, Giorgio, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime you want, you are here. Wow, that was, Should we start? I just want to say Giorgio's Patreon. He is covering, I'm gonna butcher his last name. Jen Armstrong, not Jen Armstrong. Oh my gosh, I do this every time. I always want to call her Jen
There's
Armstrong.
been too many Jens on Orange County.
Our new Jen. Okay.
Jen
Our new
Pedranti.
Thank you. She'll get it together eventually. Jen Pedranti's now fiance Ryan Boyajian. Thank you, because I don't want to butcher it. He is, you tell everyone a little bit of it. We'll give a snippet so that they can know what they're in for when they go over to your Patreon.
Yeah, no, thank you. I, as you know, I just started a new Patreon membership, members only page. So a part of the exclusive content is every week I do a Giorgio Says Investigates. I do a deep dive on a particular Bravo topic or Bravo Leb. Last week was the first episode. I did it on Taylor Armstrong. This week, I was going to do it around New Jersey and the drama around that stuff. But then Deadline dropped an article later yesterday, I want to say early evening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I couldn't have screamed, I told you so loud. And I was on a walk at this time when the article dropped. And I looked at Jeff and I was like, oh my God, I literally told all of these people and they all came for me because everyone thought I was just coming for them. And I wasn't. I really was trying to point out that this is a pattern of behavior that is just more than a red flag to me. So the article drops. He's now affiliated with this guy, Matthew Boyer, whose wife is friends with Jen Pedranti and owns her own company. Nonetheless, I did the deep dive on that essentially because I had done a video back in December of 2023 on it quickly. And yeah, so it is out now. And I literally just posted the trailer for it. This was a quick turnaround for me because I was not planning on doing this week or at all. But it dropped on me and I had to jump on it. But I will say, if you are a free Patreon member from now until 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday, it will be free for free Patreon members to watch. And then on Saturday, it will go back to paid members only. So give you guys a little taste of what's to be expected. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. And I am with the help of my dear friend here, working on building out a Patreon myself to give y'all some more content. And because I do like to go live here on YouTube, but I just wanted to give y'all a little something more. And I am working on that. So I will let you know when it's ready. And yeah, we'll go from there. Before we jump into Vanderpump Rules.
Hold on, I need to shout out Tay Tay in the comment. You just subscribed to my Patreon, so thank you so much. I love
Hi.
you. Sorry, I just saw the notification. So okay, we can continue.
No, of course. Thank you, Tay Tay. There was something I saw my friend over there on Instagram, Bravo Boo, posted right before we jumped on here, and I immediately sent it to you.
My
And I'm
God.
trying to find more information on it. So because I can't find more confirmation, and
Isn't it California?
it was in like Ohio. Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let me hold on. My investigative cap is on. Let
Take
me
a look.
see.
Because it's the maiden name. So this is the type of thing that I will be able to freely chat about and say more without the allegedly in front of it, because we can't confirm it fully yet. Giorgio's going to look into it right as we speak. But if you aren't watching The Valley, which again, oh my God, watch it. Who isn't watching it? I'm looking at whoever's not watching it. I'm looking at you. You know who you are. Because Giorgio and I also recap The Valley on his podcast. Giorgio says we do that on Wednesdays. There seems to be possibly an alleged similarity aside from the messiness between Janet Caperno and Jax Taylor. And again, allegedly, we're looking into it, but it appears that Janet was arrested for theft, like petty theft, the type that Jax Taylor did with the sunglasses.
Wait, is her maiden name Caperna?
No.
No, it's not. What is her? Hold on.
Fortner. It said, yeah.
How do you spell that?
Oh gosh, give me one moment here. I just looked it up. It was F. Where'd it go? I was just Googling it. Cool. Thanks for going away on me, Google. Let me pull it back up. One moment, my friends. Fortener. So we're going to look into that some.
Fortner.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot I could find. So interesting because, on The Valley, Janet is very much trying to be the centric Stassi character at this point in filming. And, it's kind of fascinating because you and I both clocked when Jax had said he and Janet were very much alike. And once he said that, you and I saw through everything she was doing. We were both like, oh, no, no, no. You're trying to make Kristen the villain here. But me thinks it might be Miss Janet. And what do you know? There are more similarities going off of that. Now, whenever you're ready, Giorgio, we're going to jump in to Vanderpump
There's
Rules.
a lot of Jennifers in Ohio that got arrested, so I'm gonna have to dig into that a little bit more later. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh my God.
My brain's exploding with the Ryan stuff. I can't dig into that now.
Too many Jennifers.
Oh my
all of it.
God. I know.
Now, I know you and I barely talked on this because we try and save our conversations regarding things like, Vanderpump Rules when we cover it here for the actual recording that we are doing. So we do our best to try and not say too much. I do believe that we were both of the mind that this episode, the way it ended, felt like it was the series finale. Just that very ending. We're just going to start with that before we jump into everything. What was it? Just me, or like I think someone was cutting onions and my allergies were acting up. I felt a little teary-eyed. Is that really pathetic?
Which, by the way, here's a little tip for you guys that I learned. When cutting onions, if you don't want your eyes to water and cry excessively and burn, you wet some paper towels and you lay them on the cutting board and you cut the onion on top of that wet paper towel because the water absorbs all the fumes from the onions.
Wait, I actually do need this because when I tell you I am that person that I would probably have to, if I could, if I owned them, I would say I would wear ski goggles while cutting onions because I don't know if it's the blue eyes, but I am like overly sensitive to it. And I will literally have to sit down afterward. Basically, what I have to do after any strenuous activity, of course. But, that's so on top of the wet paper towel. That's a good.
Because
that-
the
that's a good
water,
choice.
the wetness of the paper towel, the
Mhm.
water itself will actually pull the fumes that are coming from the onion rather than them going into the air and into your eyes.
See,
So it's almost like
welcome
a
to
vacuum effect for the fumes.
Welcome to 2024, my friends. It is. They have not come up with a device that prevents this from happening, but Giorgio Takanakis has the answer for you.
Join that Patreon, I'm telling you. No, I'm joking.
No need to go to Pinterest, where I go for all things cooking and baking. Thank you very much.
Oh my Lord. Oh my gosh, random facts.
Mhm.
No,
Yes.
it felt like a series finale to me as well. I think a lot of people felt that way watching the last few minutes, especially that montage. I think it was the way that they picked the very first interview
Confessional.
test
Mhm.
shots of the cast
With
that
the song.
really, it just kind of was like, now, then I thought about it again a little bit more and I was like, okay, well, let's just say they do a season 12. Why would they have done it that way? Or why would they have edited it that way? Because maybe perhaps in the event that they don't get a season 12, like maybe they're in limbo at that stage, right? I don't know.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, if that was the last season, at least let's make it look like it was an ending to a series rather than just a season.
Kind of like season 10, the way they ended it with Lisa at the very end there. You all will, whatever it was she said, you will learn how to carry on and
Love again.
yes, you all will be all right. So, okay, let's just go ahead and start with, and you and I both know that we both do love LaLa. We have a love for LaLa that has really evolved over the many years. And there was a point where I was like, I cannot stand this crazy bitch. Like, what the hell? And now I'm like, oh my God, LaLa, I love you. But she really took a turn for me many times in this episode. And it wasn't just the ending. Like her calling Dan a square because of what Ariana had relayed to her about how, oh, yeah, like he's been in fights before. If Sandoval tries to shake his hand, he's not even going to whatever. Look, it sounds like at the end of it, Ariana was kind of when we have a man as our partner and we want to know, like like I've said before, there is nothing hotter than a man that knows how to kick some ass, but also doesn't just do it. He restrains himself. Like that is sexy. And I think that's part of what was the turn on for Ariana because, it's not a gangly man screaming, dude, no, dude, what are you doing? Over and over. An altercation happens, as we saw on Peacock, which we'll get to that. But when LaLa was going on to Katie about Dan at the beginning of the episode, I didn't hear anything that made me go, "Oh my God, he sounds like such a square." It felt like she was just trying to be like, poo on it, and that's just honestly how I felt. I rewatched it twice, and I was like, what is it that about what she's saying makes him sound like a square?
I think honestly, Lala's whole I think her whole motto is, and I said this on my podcast, smashing the fourth wall to that extent was too much information for the average viewer who watches the show. Because when you peel it back, yes, the things that she said at the very end, I can see her side in it, but only through the lens of someone who's going to work and now sees that perhaps this situation not playing out the way the producers wanted it to, right? Now, what does that mean for us? Does that mean now we lose our jobs because she wanted to cry in a corner and not film with this man that she stays under the same roof with? Like, that I understood from the viewpoint of someone who just bought their second home, has a second baby they're planning on having. They got bills to pay. And when you're on a show like this making that salary, you just learn to live off that salary and what it allows for you. No one really thinks about moments like that where it's like, the central storyline person doesn't want to interact with the other central line story person for very good reason. But for me, LaLa was going to take a jab any which way she could to try to get something to happen. So if she had to call Dan a square so that maybe Ariana would have a reaction to that, so that there could be some back, like whatever it took. And that's what I saw at the end of this finale. I saw 3 people who instinctually, I'm not saying they all connected on the strategy. I'm saying they each had their own strategy going in to try to keep the show going because they all knew the pressure. And it's clear that Jeremiah puts a lot of pressure on these people to get things done. So
yeah, it took, the problem is at the end of the day, it takes away from any authenticity that could be in there. And that's what's disappointing about, if you're going to break the fourth wall, make it good. Even I even appreciated the way Carl broke the fourth wall on Summer House last week and the way they were doing that. That makes sense. But if you're breaking the fourth wall because you're talking about your paycheck, that's where I'm like, girl, why?
But also you have to think it's very interesting that they chose to leave that in, because typically, let's be honest, those types of conversations happen a lot. It just gets cut out because obviously it's not part of the story. This situation, though, they left that in for a reason. And I almost feel like they even thought, they're not going to use this. This is because she even said, and they leave that in as well. She's like, I can't say it because it'll really break the fourth wall. But here goes. And she did it. And I think in her mind and everyone there in the moment, they're like, okay, this is way past the breaking the fourth wall. We're talking about like work and filming and like now we've told everyone this is actually a production and we didn't get the job done tonight.
So because also this episode, the episode felt very disjointed, like they were just wringing the fruit out as hard as they could. And I've said it once, I've said it 20 times, and I'll say it 30 more. Scandoval was the gift that was cursed. And it was just a gift and a curse at the end of the day. It was not going to provide any longevity for the show. Did it revive the show? Yes, it revived the season and the reunion. But after that, aside from their podcasts and their endorsement deals, their branding collabs, things like that, and aside from Ariana's career, no, it did not it killed it. And that's the thing too, watching the after show, Ariana did make a great point. And this isn't just me bowing to the queen. I mean, she has a degree in theater. She'd been preparing for opportunities like this for a very long time. Is it unfortunate the way she had to get there? Yes. But did she turn the lemons into lemonade? Yes. And I'd be damned if I did not turn every goddamn lemon, stone, freaking piece of nothing into that lemonade if that happened to me. And that's where, also on the after show, LaLa saying, yeah, a lot of people were mad about these opportunities she had that they didn't get. And they were mad. She used the word, yes, mad. So, it's hard. I've been in that entertainment industry where it's like, you see someone that you like and that you're friends with killing it, and you're like, damn, I wish that were me. But you don't sit there and get mad about it. And so that's why you have to question, why would they get mad? And it's not just, to me, out of jealousy. It's because it's such a different game than any other type of entertainment industry, because it's their lives, right? And, going back toward the Sheena and Brock of it all, because it feels like it turned into the Sheena, LaLa, Sandoval show. And we kind of felt like it was probably, we all kind of collectively thought it's going to be the Ariana show, but it wasn't. And she, in Ariana fashion, she wasn't making it all about her. And I mean, Sheena and Brock having this, I don't know why. I don't know if it's that since Brock shaved off the whole thing and just left the mustache, he just started pissing me off even more.
It's the mustache, dude. Who take that shit off?
What was that? Going to work. Who goes to a random barber like that?
I don't care. I don't care. There's no way in hell mustache is ever a good idea.
No.
Okay? Charles
No.
Bronson, cut the shit. We're not doing that anymore. So, enough, Brock. I feel like Brock is trying to find himself through the show, with the Versace-esque pants from Amazon and the jacket and
and the heeled boots
just on
and
the heels on the after show. What are we giving here, Brock? I don't care whichever way you want to go, but you didn't come on the show looking like that. So it's just, you got Sheena-fied. You're letting her dress you up like a damn doll, and you look ridiculous at times, and you sound ridiculous based on your past and some of the situations you're talking on. But nonetheless, here's the thing. A lot of people don't take this the wrong way, but Ariana doesn't have what it takes to hold a central storyline. I'm sorry.
on a reality show.
No, not in this capacity. Everyone knows that. Lisa Vanderpump knows that. Tom Sandoval knows that. Sheena knows that. LaLa knows that. Katie knows it too, but she don't give a shit. When you have that many people that are it's going to be centered around her and how she deals with things, and she's not going to fucking do anything. So we're going to just be there goes our job. So they kicked in, and without realizing, by doing so, they in turn made it all about themselves and what they're not going to get and what they're lacking and so on and so forth. And mostly Sheena is the biggest contributor to this.
She was insufferable in that manner. And I feel that the part of the reason is Ariana is not going to pander to the audience in that sense of she's going to value the real relationships in her life over making the show. And that's how you have a happy life, maybe not a good show, but a happy life. And how you can be a person that people want to be around and can trust and find authentic. So, like I said, is it good for the show? No, not necessarily. But you want to know who reminded me exactly of Giorgio Takakis during this lunch? It was LaLa Kent. All
that's
those
me.
questions.
That is me. I am not the one. Don't bring nobody around here new and shit. I'm going to ask everything I want to know now.
I was like this in my notes. It's Giorgio. I can literally see the head tilt being like, how so? What? And really? So why do you think, why do you say that? Your last relationship, 6 years. It ended. It ended amicably. How so?
Because she's saying here when I talked to her.
It was cracking me up. The biggest thing I got from that, Daniel is 40 years old and he looks like he is 28. Oh my God. He looks
wild.
28.
The man has the genes of, I don't even know.
A
the
god.
hair, the skin, of course he's a personal trainer. Of course.
And that hair looks healthy as hell.
Not a flipping split end.
What the hell? Why is
I'm actually going to get
blessed
thinking
with it?
extensions after this because I'm sick of it. I want 24 inches as well.
You know what? You flip that shit around, baby.
I will. You wait until the next BravoCon. My hair is going to be down to the fucking floor. People are going to be stepping on my hair and shit. I don't care. And I'm going to cuss everyone out.
No need
Where
for a
is
Swiffer in his
Dan?
house.
And I'm just going to look for Dan the whole time.
Mhm.
So I can just be like, look what you inspired.
Oh. You know,
Oh.
this lunch too, you know, I know I say I'm always team Katie, but it's also because I can see a lot of how I would respond to some things in I don't think I would respond to a lot of these things in the exact same way Katie would, but you know how I am when I'm like, nah, this is wrong. And how during all of this, after Sheena is like trying to gain brownie points with Ariana, acting like she's so scared of her, telling her that Sandoval told her, you know, the night before that he was apologizing and seems like he's making changes. And she was kind of like,
Ariana, listen, I asked him how he felt about weaponizing your mental health. Did you hear what I said, Ariana? Did you hear what I did? I called him out.
it was like, dude,
We're at lunch with my new boo. Why are you bringing this up to me right now? This is what I'm talking about. And this is the edit we got. Imagine how much more she's inserted that into situations that we just didn't see. Because at the end of the night,
oh my God.
Ariana was like, girl, can you do me a favor? Por favor. Stop telling me what he and his journey and all that shit. I don't care about his audio engineer that he paid for to come out here and do a fake audio check for your non-singing ass. I don't care.
And gave you an auto-tuning mic.
I don't want to you the friend either, because I'm not going to drop him.
For Sheena to actually believe that that was genuine and not him once again trying to keep going with this redemption arc is absolutely mind effing blowing. Yes, Sheena,
How do
he
we
did
know
not
that
do
she
that
wasn't in
out
on
of the
redemption
goodness.
arc?
Yeah, maybe several years ago he would have done that out of the goodness of his heart. But right now, not a single thing he is doing in front of those cameras is from the goodness of his heart. He isn't even crying from his heart. He's crying from his damn asshole because he knows that it's grass.
No, you know what needs to happen? Sheena needs to cut the crap and be real, like she was at the end of that finale. You sat up there and are crying because this is all going to impact you.
Looking
None
like
of y'all care about Ariana because you're like, oh, well, she moved on 8 days later. She's fine. So film these flipping scenes and move on.
Sheena's toddler and Tiara's ass in there pretending to cry the whole time. Every time she talks about Sandoval.
Oh, she cries on, she can
She cries
cry
on cue. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Well,
I just, for me, it was a lot of the whole finale party to me was just a wrangled mess. It was clear that Kyle was paid by Bravo in production to please house this event
do
so that
something.
we can make something happen, have some time in a different city. Like, and because you could just tell, especially when you get the shot of Ariana busting her ass to run over to Jeremiah to let him know, like, I am not, you guys keep sending his ass near me and I'm leaving. And then she was like, no, I'm leaving. I'm going out. Fuck it. I'm done. Because I do think in her contract for this season, she had a no contact. She would not film with him. However, Jeremiah, and I'm sorry I keep calling out Jeremiah. He's the only one that they keep showing. But he or whoever was probably trying to find loopholes to try to get interaction, which we did get a little bit of at James's house earlier in the season. But
that should have been enough.
That was it. And I think she probably was pissed off that she even gave him that on camera because I think she really was intending on not interacting with him at all. And we got a few interactions. But
which should have been enough, in my opinion, because you know that they were like constantly, they were those editors sitting in that editing room, looking through the dailies, going like, shit,
she has not talked to him. We have got no closure for him to have a redemption arc.
And begging anyone and everyone to get them to talk. That's all they are wanting this whole season. Hey, have you thought about talking to Sandoval? Ariana, have you thought about having a conversation? Ariana, me again. How about you call Sandoval? Call Sandoval real quick.
Did I tell you that Sandoval has been working on himself?
You know, he might be changing. He's been
Do you
doing
think that he
scream
might be
therapy.
sorry? He might feel sorry this time. I don't know. I
This
got
time's
that.
different. It's different this time. Please, or else we're gonna have to do. I don't know. We're gonna have you in a love triangle. We're gonna have to pull a Kyle Richards thing. Something.
There's
Anything.
nothing more that pisses me off than seeing someone go from phony to asshole in 60 fucking seconds.
Oh, and we saw it.
It boils my blood to the point where now I spot it a mile away when people are pulling shit like that. I
Mhm.
don't react, and I don't typically respond to people who do come off that way for that reason. Because the minute you walk out the door, the face changes and then the tone changes. Then all of a sudden, you're a piece of shit who's lazy and is lucky to even be on this fucking show.
The way my jaw dropped when Sandoval said that about her, I was like, you absolute.
You were literally trying to fucking kiss her ass to talk to her. Oh, but
now she's a lazy
piece of shit. Got it.
You know, when Ariana laid down the law with Schwartz though at that lunch, and she she said, "What to Schwartz? Watch how you're talking to me, or you can leave. Watch how you're talking at this table, or you can walk out." Basically, when he was trying to say, "Oh, he's not a trash guy. Oh, he did a trash thing." I swear to God, this is why this isn't going to work anymore. We are tired of people defending him. And I feel like some of us were starting to come around for a minute. Like, okay, let's ease up, let it go. You know what I mean? Like we were tired of
up until this episode.
Yes. And then
I was there too. I was like, okay, girl, I get it. Like, okay. But you got a man and you're doing good. Like you're hitting it. You're good. I get it. Process that pain. Yes. But then this episode, I was like, oh, you guys are all fucking playing games.
Yeah.
No wonder she was pissed off from day one. No wonder Katie's fuming because imagine what we don't know behind the scenes and we know a lot. We know a lot, but we're not actually cast members, so we don't really know. How do we not know that off camera people are like, no, I know what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to finagle me to try to talk to him. They're going to try to that's why Katie was letting the hints out in the beginning. Like, I know Sheena's going to be the first one to cave. Oh, looky. Looky what we got here. Sheena's the first one to actually cave. Shocker. Then it turns into 1 minute she's yelling at Sandoval and then crying the next day and going right back to being friends with him and then writing a song about the situation he initially hates her for. And then the next minute you're seeing him bopping with his phone out like a proud mama. Like, what?
Good for the goose and good for the gander is what those three, as in LaLa, Sheena, and Sandoval, are looking at it as. And, you know, I think it's part of what's most frustrating about it is Vanderpump Rules starting out for a long time was probably one of the most authentic, storyline driven reality shows we had seen in a very long time or had ever seen up until, because before that it was The Hills and it's turned into The Hills. That's why, you know, like if y'all have watched Selling Sunset, Selling OC, it's the same creator. And it very much like all of us who are millennials were like, oh my God, this is the way it's ending. Got it. You know, like this is it becomes incredibly contrived. And that's where it's disappointing because you preach at us over and over and over that this is your real lives. And, you know, I think we're going to get there. Okay. We're going to get there. Why is Joe here? Why?
You know why? Because we need
something.
We need potential replacements in the mix.
Oh, Jesus, no. I cannot listen
why
to
else
the
is
bird
she
calls.
on every episode. She's literally been in every episode. So there's no telling that I'm sure Schwartz has been in producers' ears like, oh, look, she could be good. She could be good. But guess what? No, she can't because Katie will never, ever.
And I will take Katie over her any day, honey.
1,000%. Joe, I was giving her grace.
You were. I agree.
after this, I was like, no, you should have, when Schwartz said, let's go to the Lion's Den, you should have said, no, I'm good. She doesn't like me, and I respect that, and I respect her point of view as to why. That making sure you say that as many times that night while not going and sitting in the Lion's Den to try to give some bullshit excuse as to why you were pretending to care about Katie, and then you started staying at Schwartz's shortly after.
Well, so you weren't friends, so you why would you not text a friend about their divorce?
I wouldn't like her either, is the point. And it really clicked for me when she was like, okay, and like she went over, and I'm like, oh no, you just want to be on the show.
Absolutely.
And this whole like wackadoodle thing that you're doing with the
it's all robot sounds and bird calls whenever they're in the room together.
You know exactly what you're doing. And you know what? I was a little slow to the party, but I'm here now. That scene where she's trying to sit on that couch and justify whatever it was when it's just black and white. There's no explanation needed, is my point. And the way that she kept trying to explain it. It was funny though, because even LaLa had to check Katie sometimes. She was like, don't do that, Katie. Like, because she was gonna rip her to shreds.
And I'm sorry. I know, again, I can be a vindictive, stinging Scorpio, but I would have been Katie in that moment. I don't know that I would have had the gall to call her weird in that moment.
I would have been worse. I would have been like, oh, it would have been over. And they would have probably cut a lot out because it would have been like, we can't air this. You said really awful things. Because I am like that. If you are going to have the balls to come and sit next to me after I made it very clear to you
she
where
put
I
LaLa
stand.
in between them because she still was so scared of Katie, she couldn't actually sit next to her. She couldn't stand in front of her.
She was close enough to snatch.
But Joe's brain doesn't think that way. Joe,
no, I
I'll put
know.
LaLa between us.
Because you know Schwartz wouldn't step in.
Hell no. Here's something we have to talk about. You know, and this was before the party in LaLa's room when Katie and LaLa are talking about how LaLa says Sheena's looking for Ariana's approval to be friends with Sandoval. And here's the thing. Sheena should not and does not have to seek Ariana's approval to be friends with Sandoval. Ariana laid out the boundary way back. She laid it out. And why on God's damned earth does Sheena need Ariana for the umpteenth mother effing time to acknowledge that Sheena had a friendship with him when friendship and romantic partner are so vastly different, and it is exhausting. And let me also point this out because we're going to get there with LaLa, but I have to say it before I bust at the seams. Yes, you and I have discussed multiple times about how what LaLa went through with Rand is completely and totally different, especially because there's a child involved. But God effing forbid LaLa had to film on a TV show with Rand after everything. Schwartz went and played pickleball with Rand, and she said, "You're dead to me," basically. And it's infuriating at this point when it's like, LaLa, you are all about keeping it real, and we'll get to the part at the end where she admits she hasn't. But your audacity with this, and again, this comes from a place of us loving LaLa, but it's very, very frustrating. I cannot point this out enough. And Sheena valuing this bullshit friendship with Sandoval. Yes, he helped you. He gave you some money during the pandemic. That doesn't mean you owe him your spleen and your freaking blood.
How much money was it?
It doesn't matter. If he could give it to you, that's on him. If you didn't ask and he gave it.
No, but here's the thing, Sheena. If you're in this situation and this is what you're looking to say, well, this is hard, then this is what needs to happen. This is what should have happened, okay? At the very beginning of all this, when she started to realize, I'm not going to be able to disconnect from my friendship from Sandoval, although he was a piece of shit to my other best friend. Mm-hmm. I need to mitigate this and get ahead of it before people start thinking or questioning my motives. I would go to Ariana first. And I would say, look, here's where I'm at. I love you. He's a piece of shit. And I am so sorry that you are still having to deal with this on whatever level, right? But he's also been a good friend to me, and I can't just cut him out the way that you are, although I understand why you are cutting him out, and I would do the same thing had he done that to me.
There you
I
go.
just want you to know that I want to come to you and let you know that I'm fully prepared to keep our friendships completely isolated and separate from each other, because I don't want you to think that whatever we discuss, I'm going to tell him and share with him when and if I speak to him, and vice versa.
Or how about, Sheena, since you made so much money off of the entire Scandoval, why don't you go ahead and pay Tom Sandoval back so you have that guilt off of you?
She didn't make, she made some money, yes, but it went into that Palm Springs house, and now it's all in that other house in the valley that she just bought.
But Giorgio, your mental health and your peace of mind, it's just a house.
It's just a house.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I lost my place here. You know, Schwartz, he went and had the conversation with Sandoval, and can we please point out how filthy Sandoval's hotel room was? How long were you there? 24 hours? So it wasn't all Ariana making the mess in the house. Now her room is her thing, but let's
No, they're both messy. They're both messy and gross. Let's just put that out there.
So when we get to Sheena going to her sound check, right? And it's Sheena saying in confessional that
This is the friend I remember, the one who does things without being asked. Oh no, here I go again, making it about me.
so you fucking know how insufferable you are, or else you want the audience to continue hating you.
She knows what she's doing in those confessionals. That's my point. That's what we saw at the last few minutes. That's what it all, like, it really set in with me. I was like, oh my God, she's just acting. She said those same things because she knew the audience was going to say it about her. So she thought, how clever would it be if I said, making it all about me? And instead of a cocktail, I sip out of my Starbucks because reality reckoning. But nonetheless, the point is,
we don't know what was in the Starbucks.
You know,
Just kidding.
She is the bigger of all the evils, in my opinion, in terms of friend. I mean, listen, who gives a shit about Sandoval? No one gives two shits about him. But between LaLa and Sheena, if I were Ariana, yeah, I'd be pissed off at LaLa, but I would eventually get over it. I would still be friends with her. Sheena, on the other hand, you can go fucking kick rocks, because you all season have been whining and talking smack. And then here you go the last 3 minutes going, I agree with you, girl. I agree with you. Like, shut up, because you're about to be out. Like, I'm just saying, it just really irked me that she had the nerve to like.
Yeah. The gall to do it. And, you know, did you notice the irony going back to the Joe and Katie conversation? We'll call it a conversation. The irony of Joe telling Katie, let him go. When now she doesn't know this, but Schwartz had just asked Katie to have one last hurrah one night stand the night before. Is it just Katie who won't let Schwartz go, Joe? Joe, like, I am so sorry that you were made into such a fool, but you don't help your own case.
No, you keep going back to it. He don't want nothing to do with you. You know that. He made that abundantly clear. And you still, why are you here? Why are you in San Francisco?
And then why are you texting a person who you are now saying you weren't friends with the day you find out about their divorce? I don't text a random acquaintance when I hear they're getting a divorce. Oh my God. You do that with people you are friends with. And that further drives the narrative. Okay, so either, yes, you actually were kind of friends, or you are that insane that you found it acceptable to text an acquaintance that. It's bizarre. Everything about her is bizarre. And I know everyone has been, and I had someone
in my reviews be like, it's offensive, the language from this girl,
me, who claims to be ADHD. Bitch, I don't just claim to be ADHD. If I could claim not to be, I sure as shit would. But I'll tell you what I find offensive, lumping Joe into my type of neurodivergence because of her behavior. Okay? That's her personality. That's not her fucking ADHD. Excuse me. So anyway, that's how I feel, because I'm going to tell you what, I don't act like that. I don't walk around making robot noises and bird calls in my goddamn 30s. Jesus, get some medication, grow up, or get a
local
therapist.
news contract. Co-host
Jesus.
loses it on air. No, you know what? The thing is, the thing is with Joe is that it's just she really played up the whole, because I don't think that's how she is. I don't think that is completely how she is. I think she plays it up. I think Schwartz plays up his little quirkiness. I think they're quirky. I don't think they're that quirky.
Did you watch her live? I mean, I'm blocked, so I saw it later.
They are on live. Again, it's performative and they are not dumb. And I just feel like it's just not authentic at all. I think Katie would have respected Joe more if she never had sent that text and then just went and moved in on her on Schwartz. She would have been probably like irked by it, but not to this extent.
No. And to bring Justin Bieber into it. Okay, but now we've touched on it barely, but when Sheena and Ariana talk, you know, this is what one of the key points is. Ariana, when she says in confessional that she's not sure how Sheena thinks that she knows Sandoval better than Ariana does, when Ariana was intimately in a relationship day in, day out for nearly a decade, and Sheena wants to act like she knows the real Sandoval. It's I mean, I'm sorry, but there is no one that truly knows you like your intimate partner. Not even your very best friend is going to see you the way your intimate partner does on a daily basis. I mean, there's just no way. And it's wild how important Sheena finds herself.
She's
really wild.
The number one person in her world. Always.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I always like this conversation in particular was cringy at best.
Ariana saying your family? Oh my God.
I really don't understand why every time you talk to Ariana, you're bringing up Sandoval. I mean, I know why. We all know why.
Right.
Ariana knows why. But the point is, it's like I just wonder, like, during that entire time, like, why? Like, I almost would have wanted to stay if I were Ariana, just so I could see it all the way through and see everyone's reaction when everyone rapped. When he didn't get what he wanted, to hear or see whatever, because I would have eviscerated everyone at that thing. Or she should have stayed and just let everyone know, like, you guys are all a bunch of fake bitches.
I know, she's got too many good brand deals. She's not going to risk that.
But
and
then
you
I
know
guess
what?
the other argument is like, fine, like, but Ariana, are you gonna come back for another season of this?
I would be surprised if she does.
Because I don't see how, like, what it seems like you're good to go. Like,
I think she is.
Then,
and I've been saying that. She's set. She's good, you know? There was that moment when Ariana said in her confessional, like, I don't know why Sheena thinks that I wouldn't love her, be connected to her anymore, or be friends with her anymore if she wanted to be friends with Sandoval. And they gave us the flashbacks of Ariana saying pretty much the opposite of that. But I think for her, that applied to people like Schwartz. This is just my thought. And it applied to people who are not Sheena, who she considers family. And she said that as much. I think what Ariana was actually saying was anyone who is not like this to me, and I think Ariana would make an exception for Sheena as long as she set some boundaries with Sheena. Like, if I can't trust certain things being said to you without some time knowing you're not going to have a conversation about anything we've talked about to him. And that lends even more to the fact that of all people, Sheena should have cut Sandoval off. Sheena, of all people, should have been the one. And it's like, at the end of the day, and I get it, you have a family. I completely understand that. But I was talking to our mutual good friend Jesse the other day about something about how can you choose certain things, like the paycheck at a certain point is where I'm going, just at a certain point, over every relationship that has actual value beyond the monetary sense. And Sheena always is going to choose the fame, the attention, the paycheck, the show over her relationships. She will sacrifice every relationship in her life for that show. And so it makes me wonder, at a certain point, did Sheena ever genuinely consider any of them her friends? And I think the answer is no.
Well, here's the thing we have to remember. They all started at an age where this is all they now know.
Mhm.
Okay.
True.
So, yes, from where we sit, well, if I'm honest with you, with what some of them are making per season, I don't know if I would easily give that check up either. So I'm not sitting here going to sit on a high horse and be like, yeah, I would turn down my check because I'm not going to choose between. It's like, no, I would just have handled it differently. And
Yes.
that is where I disagree with Sheena. It's not about the check. I get it. Everyone needs that check on that show. Obviously, they're still
Yes.
on the show because of the check. Let's not be, no one's going on reality TV if they're not looking for fame and some money. I hope that is crystal clear to everyone who
Yes.
watches these
Yeah.
shows. Please do not think any one of these people are that meek and humble that they're like, no, not me. Like, you're getting in front of a camera and putting your life out there. You want this. So, like, I will say, I want that at some point. I'm not going to get on it and then be like, oh my God, you just don't get it. It's like, no, I do get it. You knew what you were getting. I don't know if they necessarily knew what they were getting themselves into, again, because they were so young. These aren't housewives, where it's like they
Right.
had a life before. They quite literally started their whole lives, careers, friendships, relationships
Mhm.
on the show. So if that's going to get taken away, yes, the paycheck will get taken away. But now what?
Well, yeah, and obviously this isn't me saying that, oh, they're doing it for art and they're artists and that's, but
No.
what it comes, the point being made is, clearly there was no genuine conversation had between Sheena and Ariana behind the scenes, the way she's had a lot of genuine conversations hyping Brock's big ass up to freaking be a whole ass mess on this show. But point being, at some point, at least one relationship has to be important enough to you that you're not going to completely sacrifice that one relationship to the show. You can sacrifice a lot of things because, again, you're making that money. You have a family to support. God, do I know all about that. It's just kind of like, it really shows the difference between Ariana's, and this is, again, I don't have the confirmation that this is what Ariana was saying, but this is just the way I took it, was that Ariana would be willing to say, I love you enough and I would never want to not have you in my life, that I wouldn't cut you off for wanting to be okay with this person who did all these things to me, as in Tom Sandoval. I think Ariana was willing to sacrifice that aspect to keep Sheena in her life, but Sheena is not willing to sacrifice anything to
That
keep
is
Ariana in
why
her life.
that conversation was maddening, because that's
Ugh.
exactly what ended up happening. Ariana finally gave in to Sheena and was like, fine. Because Sheena already told her, I'm not giving up my friendship to Tom. So, okay, well, obviously Ariana cares a lot about Sheena. She's going to clearly give her some grace and give her an exception, and handles it very well, considering she's been bombarded by the Sandoval topic all season from Sheena.
From Sheena specifically.
And
Like,
now
Giorgio, if you were the
gotta
one
hug and
coming to me,
cuddle her. Imagine we're hugging and coddling Sheena. Like, this is what blows my mind.
yeah,
If you showed this season only to someone who never has watched this show, they would assume that Sheena's the one that got cheated on by
It's
Tom.
true.
I 1,000% believe that, and I will continue to believe that.
Yeah.
No context, just plop them in front of this season and hit play, and I guarantee you they'd be like, wait, did he cheat on her?
Yeah.
No. Wait, are you sure?
Just put someone's dad in front of the TV, and that's what they'll think.
Absolutely. And they're going to think Sheena was the one that was cheated on, and they're going to be pro Sheena until they realize this. Wait, it wasn't Sheena. Oh, what then? Why the fuck is she over here crying?
What is her problem?
What I'm saying is so maddening about that conversation is like, are you that delusional, dear? Or are you really just putting on for the show right now? You can't be serious.
Both. By the way, that whole bottle breaking scene with this rando dude that comes in, I posted a TikTok video about it because it only was shown on Peacock.
Mhm.
And do you know how many people were in the comments saying, oh, Tom Sandoval paid that guy to come over there and cause some mess? This random dude.
I kind of feel like it was not Tom Sandoval, but I feel like maybe Jeremiah, allegedly. Sorry,
Or-
Jeremiah. If we ever meet, you're gonna
Or
slap
Kyle
the shit
Chan
out
may
of
have thrown
me.
him a
I keep
bone.
throwing your name around here like you're the biggest asshole over there. And I know that's not the case. You have a job to do as well. But yes.
Yeah, I think Kyle Chan could have thrown him a solid hundo and been like, hey,
Billy
go for it,
Lee,
dude.
you know what? Actually, this leads back to Billy Lee. That guy was the one that was allegedly stalking Billy Lee because she was trying to make that a thing after that whole thing. Obviously, they didn't show us that because like not giving her airtime. But she had said that guy had been like following her.
So I had a follower, I believe her name, Kelsey Lee. Hey, Kelsey, if you're listening, on Instagram, send me something that was on Reddit today in my DMs about how maybe the look on Billy Lee's face the entire time, what she's just smiling as it's all happening. There are screenshots of her reacting to all of this fight breaking out. And she looks not only unbothered, unsurprised, but she's amused. And now maybe it was just an awkward, you know how sometimes the way you react to like insane things in the moment, but interesting. Because do you remember when people were saying, oh, this is T's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend? Do you remember that? Clearly not. We saw T for all of 2 seconds and T was sitting there on Billy Lee's hip. She was with her mother.
Let me tell you something about Billy Lee. Actually, I can't. I won't. But what I will say about her is
Sorry.
because I'm gonna stop because we're live.
I want y'all to know this is what's frustrating. This is part of why we are why we're doing things like Patreon so that we can safely say things, because there are so many things sometimes we want to say and we try and give you guys everything we've got. It's just sometimes you don't want to get sued.
I'm not worried about getting sued by Billy Lee. I don't want the backlash from people taking what I would say the wrong way. What I will say about Billy Lee is that she's very messy, and of course she loved that moment because she instantly went to Instagram to try to make it about her, to try to create more buzz, to try to create more relevancy. Because remember, when Scandoval broke and the show had stopped filming, who ran up to the front door first?
In her denim
Booty
skirt.
shorts and all. Taking full advantage of the fact that she was sleeping over there and then purposefully calling people to take pictures of her leaving the house in the morning like she was Lindsay Lohan circa 2005. I don't like Billy. Let me tell you something. LaLa got it right with her the first time. And everyone got on LaLa and said this, that, and the other. No, she got it right. You are... Well, we saw how she was in the moments that we saw her this season and how she spoke. She's not...
It was the way she, and what I know where you're going with this. She wasn't talking to her friend in a way that was consoling or being supportive. She was there. Oh yeah, well, what did she say?
Why would she do that?
Yes.
Like, it was just very like, I'm just here to get camera time.
Producing
And I know you're going to keep calling me to come over and film because you don't have a lot of friends. She saw an opportunity. She's opportunistic.
Yep.
That's
That's
it.
exactly what it was. It was very clear. If those are the way the conversations go between her and Sandoval, then I wouldn't be surprised. But at the same time, I don't believe it. Normal people don't speak that way. But maybe after being on a show like that for so long, Sandoval's used to people speaking with him that way in
And
intimate type of conversations.
I also think Sandoval cock teases her.
I think that could be possible too.
I think he makes her think that.
Well, we heard the
maybe
rumors.
possibly.
Weren't there the rumors that the two of them hooked up, or was it?
Yeah,
her and
they're
Janelle?
actually the rumors that people are saying is what Jax spilled the tea on after Watch What Happens Live that caused Victoria to then end it with Sandoval. But that's alleged. I don't know if that's true or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jax did say some shit like that, because why did Billie Lee get mad and unfollow as well?
Yeah, she unfollowed Sandoval too. So, when Sandoval comes up and tries to apologize to Ariana, and she's like, nope, not doing it. And she goes over to Jeremiah saying, and I think a lot of people were kind of like, wait, what is Ariana talking about here? Where she said that's because she was pissed that they would even send his ass over there. Because he didn't just completely go, oh, let me go over there, because he knew he had to wait until they were done filming that portion of the scene. Because we already lifted the fourth wall. Giorgio and I are going to talk about it that way. So it's done and over with. We're not going to completely, I think you and I try for the most part to talk about this as if it's 1000% just happens to be a camera there. But
Yes.
right now we're done doing that since we know the way of the rest of this episode is going to go. Sandoval had to wait until they said, okay, now go. All right. They gave him the cue the way they give extras the cue. Okay, now you walk, you go. That's what happened. And when she walks back over,
it's just as simple as an audio person being like, no, we're good. Their conversation, we got it. And I'm like, okay, you can go over there now. You're not going to cut their conversation off. That's why he beelined for Sheena to make it seem like he was coming to you already congratulated her.
And he ran as fast as he could.
It was just like, no, it's annoying. Stop.
And when Ariana ran over to Jeremiah, the producer over there, saying that Sandoval could not have cared if she died in a ditch or from a deadly STD, because that is non-informed consent. She's right, because if she and Sandoval had an understanding that they were being 1000% monogamous, and they had their conversation, whatever it was or was not, when they were sleeping together, if they were choosing not to use protection for STD prevention, and yet he was off doing that, she was not informed, and she then could not have possibly consented to unprotected sex. That's what she was saying. I'm sure a lot of people got that, but then I also had a lot of people saying, what was she talking about there? And sorry, but it's Los Angeles. You don't know what anybody has anywhere. You don't know who's sleeping with who. That's terrifying. But this right here, Giorgio, this is the moment, even more than any other moment with Sheena. Right effing here. The second Ariana walks off, what she says to Sandoval when Ariana is not even a good 15 yards away.
Well, she said she thinks I'm an idiot and that you're performative.
To me, she threw her ass right under the bus to be on a platter up to Sandoval. That, Ariana, babe, she is not your friend. Never has been.
Nope.
Period. If I were Ariana and I saw that, I'd be like, okay. Good luck getting me to come back on your podcast, because you're not going to make any money on your goddamn podcast anymore, because no one is buying It's All Happening merch.
No one's buying anybody's fucking merch. Listen here, Sheena.
Buying mine.
You are done. You are toast. There's no way to explain yourself out of this one. And even for me, who gives a lot of people the benefit of the flipping doubt, okay? I have none to give you. That is insufferable behavior. That was such vileness that out of a supposed friend.
That's how if she would do that immediately on camera, how do you think she speaks about her off camera behind her back?
Why do you think Brock has such a big chest? Where do you think that came from?
And why do you think Brock has such disdain for Ariana? Because that's her man's. And this
That man is from Australia. He don't know shit about shit. He only knows what Sheena tells him. So this is why
I think he's from New Zealand, by the way, but
Oh, sorry.
okay.
Apologies.
No apologies
There
necessary.
goes Giorgio says. No, listen, he doesn't know anything about these people. Let's be clear. She tells him what he needs to know, and she also tells him what he needs to bring up on camera. Don't be fooled by that. Brock!
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Because that's why he looks at her like, bitch, you told me to say this.
Do you notice how every time she corrects him or says, no, it's something's like this or not like that, he immediately goes, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, okay, we just talked about me doing this, but okay. Oh, right, we're on the show.
But see, Sheena amped his freaking ass up, Sandoval, because then when he says to Billy Lee, after Billy Lee immediately, oh my God, are you okay? What happened? Oh my God, Tom, Sandoval, what happened? Which side is the camera on? Where's my light?
She knew where the camera was. She is like a car salesman. You know, you just want to go look, and every time you turn around, they're just right fucking there. It's like, hey, did you need something? No, I don't.
No, thank you.
Billy.
Thank you. Like, God, they are so quiet when they sneak up on you with that. Like, could you wear a bell, please? We need a bell.
That in furniture stores.
Yeah, oh my God.
Now I'm the asshole that enters. If we go looking, I walk in, I'm like, don't. I'm just looking. Don't even say hello to me.
I don't need anything. Thank you. I will let you know if I do. Okay, but how about I said no. I said no.
I'm like Lisa Rinna. No, I will get this out.
It's gonna give me cancer. Yeah, because for Sandoval to go on to say that Ariana shouldn't be on the show if she won't film with her ex.
And seriously, don't just sit back on your effing lazy ass and collect an effing check for doing nothing.
When he said that, I was like, did you notice how the camera zoomed in on Ariana's perfect ass, by the way? Y'all have to admit she has that booty.
She is a nice ass.
That body is banging, girl. Like, jeez. But they were like, and that's the ass that clearly wouldn't happen if she was lazy, because that's not the way it works, unfortunately, for a lot of us white girls, sadly. But, and what I'm talking about is head to heel over here. Thank you. But he then runs over to the producer, or Jeremiah, and he says, then to LaLa, first he's yelling at him saying that he's mad, but I'm not mad at you. And then he says to LaLa and Sheena that Ariana doesn't fuck with you guys. On the real, she talks about all of you. She doesn't show up. I'm the one who's going to show up.
She probably does talk shit about them. Everybody talks shit about everybody at some point. So what is this? What context are you speaking in? And why are you just telling us this now?
You know, Sheena then, and again, we've got little toddlers and tiara as Sheena. What the hell was that outfit? Honest to God, when we saw that the zipper broke on her first dress, I thought, oh, thank God, this explains the second outfit a little bit more. She called someone in the back there and said, go to Hobby Lobby, get me some tulle, spray paint some, I don't know.
She bought that from AliExpress for her performance, and she had to put on that outfit again because she broke her Shein outfit.
I mean, I could not. I genuinely thought maybe that was the explanation.
I'm so sick of her.
So then we get to Ariana, to LaLa breaking this fourth wall after saying she's been biting her tongue, and how she's pissed because she, as in Ariana, has had the entire world rallied around her, and now she thinks she is Beyonce. It's bullshit. She can't film with someone when she's staying under the same roof because they don't interact under the same roof, LaLa. What, you think they're just sitting there watching Love Island together? They didn't even do that when they were in an intimate relationship.
This is where I can't defend LaLa because although I understand her point of view, I do, and I know that sounds really messed up, but it's real. I do understand it. It's like, you know that you need this show, you need this paycheck, and it's a real moment for her. Was it a good moment? No, but like I said in my recap, it shouldn't have been said. She should have
No.
reserved that for when
Her
she got
podcast.
home. She could have said that to her mother, or you can call Sheena on the phone when y'all are both unmiked and you're done and you're in your PJs, tucking your daughters into bed. Like, you cannot say things like that and then think you can explain it later. You also knew the cameras were still up and rolling. You've been on the show for a long time. You know, when they say it's wrapped, it's not really wrapped. Everyone's still mic'd, as we saw, because we heard what Tom said at the very end, which again was another Hills moment of us getting a backdrop of the city lights and a
Yep.
car driving away and just getting a random audio bleep of somebody saying something shady. But she should have then inserted herself more at the finale, because she just sounded like she looked like she was just chilling. So what
She
were you so
was.
upset about?
Exactly. You know, and for her to say that, then she does admit that, you know, you're supposed to be truthful on here, even when it's uncomfortable, and that there was a time she wasn't being honest about what was going on in her life. Look, I will give LaLa some excuse for that. She was very, very young.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is for her to say that, and no, it was kind of understandable for some of it. I'm not excusing it, not saying it was okay, but there are some things you can protect, genuinely. But then when she says she doesn't feel like Tom and Ariana were being honest about their relationship until Tom was caught cheating.
I
LaLa,
agree with that.
no. See, I think if anything, they weren't being honest with themselves about their relationship. I don't think that they were full-blown lying to the point that they were faking a relationship.
I don't think they were I don't think they were faking it, but I do think they were not being completely honest about their relationship issues. And
No.
once the Scandoval thing happened, then all of their issues came out with it. And so when LaLa says she has this one real moment where she's now sharing, and then now that she's basically getting all these deals, she wraps that all up and goes back into retreat mode, where she's like, I'm not sharing anything. And so that's why I see where LaLa's coming, because I don't agree. I don't think they were faking it, but they weren't being real about the status of their relationship.
I mean, I don't think it was puppy love anymore. That's for sure.
No, but I think there
But
was real issues there that they weren't discussing. And
they weren't addressing, yeah.
that's where maybe some other cast members feel like they give up a lot more of their lives on this show. And here she gets this like one window of where she's sharing something, and now everyone's like, I see where she's going with it. I'm not knocking Ariana, because it's not her fault this happened to her. It's also, it is what it is. They didn't share. You're right. They didn't. She did share, but what was shared kind of makes up for her not sharing, in my opinion, all these years. Because karma's a real thing, you guys. Like, if the producers don't get it, you'll get it somewhere. And I think she learned, like, okay, got it. But I think from LaLa's viewpoint, she's looking at it like, why are you the one that calls the shots around here all of a sudden?
Well, and that's the thing too. I think LaLa misses the point that you don't have to be your entire body naked, wide open at all times just because you're on a reality show. You can have a few moments, because it gives more meaning to the moments that you do have. Look, here's what is going on. And I'm not saying anyone should hide anything, but I'm just saying it doesn't have to be explosion from your chest at all times. And I think LaLa is also a little confused on that as well. And, you know, LaLa, I think she would also, I hope, agree that she's still figuring a lot of shit out herself. I mean, we're all still fairly young enough. But, you know, when Ariana said in her confessional that if it mattered to Tom to actually give her an apology, he would have done it off camera, and not once did he do it. And yes, would she have dismissed him? Yes, but I don't think it mattered to him. But when
I
we
don't
do,
think so. I
Mm-mm.
don't think so, actually. I think
he was doing it for the audience.
if he was not playing for the audience, and the minute that happened and he realized, oh shit, this is really blown up, he should have written that letter months ago. And that should have happened before cameras, all that stuff even became a topic. That she would have read it. Here's why. Because as mad as she was, as mad as I would be, if that happened to me, because let me be crystal clear, I wouldn't leave my fucking house either. You will watch me rot in the walls until you decide what we're doing, but I'm not leaving. Nonetheless, if that happened and there was a letter on the kitchen counter one morning,
I'll read it. But then I'll tear it up into pieces.
I'm not going to go screaming to everybody that I read it, but I'm going to read it.
I may have torn it up into pieces after I read it and set it on the counter to make you think I didn't.
And may even not be as icy to you when cameras do go up, because I'll at least know that you took an opportunity to at least try to show me some accountability.
Yep.
Ahead of time. And we may have gotten more out of them. Who knows? See, this is where the blame shift needs to be all on Tom, not on Ariana not wanting to film with him. Because if he had handled his business, he's the one that shit all over the show. You go clean it up. Why is it her responsibility to make it right for you? Excuse me.
He just thinks that because Jax would get away with a lot of shit like that, it would go the same for him. He's not, because Jax didn't up until, recently, until he was on the Valley screaming about how he's a dad and a father and grown up. He didn't stand on this moral high ground that Sandoval has stood on for all these years. But then at the end, when we see like that shot you were saying, we get the hot mic where the producer says that's a wrap or that's the end. And Schwartz says, well, that was a plot twist. And Sandoval goes,
I love it. It's good for me.
Asshole.
Because he thinks that this will all make her look bad. And in fact, the editors were like, try again. We're going to show all of the shit that you guys talked. There you go. I have never been more disgusted by a finale than I have with this one, I have to say.
I don't like how I felt at the end of it.
I felt so I felt like I needed to call Ariana and apologize for being at the party, and I wasn't. But yeah, no, it felt very icky. There was a lot of emotions. I felt icky, and then I felt like, oh shit, is this series over?
I know.
Montage. Like,
I was like, what? What did I just watch?
Absolutely insane way to close out the season, series, whatever.
Well, we'll be covering the reunions. Reunions are they're notoriously difficult to cover because it's hard it's skimming over certain parts and trying to move on. We're going to do it. I'm going to try and work out exactly how to not be overly detailed because, listen, besties, I can be. Also, I see a lot of new faces here in the YouTube live chat. I do want to say, if you are new here, go ahead and hit subscribe, like the video. We do go live every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard, 12 p.m. Pacific. So join the bestie community, please. I'm going to say hi to a few people, but I also, first, Giorgio, where can everyone find you?
Oh, yes. Thank you. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Giorgio Says. You can also find me on Patreon at Giorgio Says. And did I forget anything else? No, I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, friends, follow me on TikTok, on Instagram, because who knows how long TikTok's going to be here. It's at Besties by Caitlin, Caitlin. And if you want to listen to the audio replay, for those of you here in the YouTube live, you can literally listen to Besties by Bravo podcast anywhere you choose to. Again, subscribe here. And you can find merch in the Etsy shop I've got in the show notes. And let's say hi to some of these new faces. And I mean, we've had quite the audience today, but if I don't see your name in the chat, I can't say hi to you. And I just love saying hi to the besties here. And we did give Tay-Tay that shout out. Hey, Tay-Tay and Adam, Miriam. See some of our regulars here. Hi, Hallie. And there's lots of good comments here. Okay. Then I see Tracy. Hi, Tracy. Hi, June. And I see Dana or Donna Maria. I'm sorry if I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it correctly. I see Neeners, Robert, Evangelina. Hi, T. Hi, Kelly. And I believe I saw one more new name, but I'm still scrolling. Seeger's mom, Sarai. And I believe I got everyone. So if you want a shout out, please join the chat. Now, my friends, I will see you live on Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, where I will be covering Summer House this coming Tuesday. And do keep an eye out. I will be working on this Patreon to give y'all some more content. Like, I think I will be covering Jersey on the Patreon because Jersey fans scare me. We all know it gets real feral. Not all of you. I like a lot of you, but it gets scary. And I feel like that's a safe space where where it's like for certain the bestie community where hopefully what's his name? Bo Deedle can't come after me or something.
Or Jim Leonard.
All right, my friends. Thank you so much for joining today. And we will see you. I'll see you Tuesday, and Georgia and I will see you next Thursday. Have a great weekend.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.